vacant business in Dunaway.
We are waiting for the potential of a few isolated storms. We'll talk about the full forecast and what the rest of the week has to hold coming up.
And authorities in St. Louis are investigating after someone drove a vehicle into 2 different Academy Sports stores.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A late night fire damaged a vacant business in Dunaway. This is KOAM News at noon. I am Amber Jenkins. New at noon, officials with Dunaway Fire Department were called to a fire around 9:30 last night at 3800 East 20th Street. When the fire department arrived, they found smoke coming from the east side of the building. That building is a former Real Pro Realtors building. Dunaway Fire Chief Howard Redding says it was an electrical fire that started in the wall and spread to the ceiling. Joplin, Webb City, and Redding's Mill all assisted on the fire. There were no injuries reported. Late Friday evening, Springfield Police Department was alerted to a suspicious vehicle in the parking lot of a Bass Pro catalog location. The white male, described by police, was in his 30s and was rushed to the area hospital. However, the police stated that the man has died from his injuries. The officer was not injured. The name of the individual is not revealed at this time. To find more updates, you can go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. State agents investigate the death of a 64-year-old inmate at Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma. Charles Gillian was found dead in his cell Wednesday after he possibly suffered a medical emergency and stopped breathing, according to an OSBI statement. Jail officials attempted life-saving measures but were unable to revive him. Court records show that Gillian was jailed without bond and on a first-degree murder charge. Authorities in St. Louis area says suspects with a stolen vehicle drove through an Academy Sports store early Wednesday morning. The first incident was in O'Fallon, where several people got out of the car and went to the gun department. They tried and failed to get the gun out the case, but then ran away. The second incident was about an hour later in St. Peter's. After crashing in, the suspects ran to the gun case and unsuccessfully tried to shoot through the glass. Police hope that the public can identify the suspects from the surveillance videos. Chris Warner joins us now with the first look at your forecast.
Amber, we're looking at the possibility of an isolated storm or two out to the east a little later today. The good news is no severe weather expected with any of that, and that's on the backside of the low pressure system that's brought us some rain showers over the last couple of days. All right, now temperatures are varied but not bad. We've got 83 Sedan and Independence, 84 Neodesha and Parsons, 75 Pittsburgh, 78 Joplin, 77 in Carthage on this fine day. Let's take a quick look at the future tracks. So this is around 3:30, so the times have moved up a little bit since this morning. But we're watching the possibility of a few isolated storms roughly between Stockton and Pierce City later today. Now again, no severe weather expected, but we may get a pop-up storm or two. And as we head through the evening, though, those storms will break apart and be gone. And that'll just leave us with partly cloudy skies tonight and as we head into tomorrow. So for the rest of today, still pushing for a high of 85. By 5 o'clock under partly cloudy skies, still watching those late day thunderstorm chances, and it'll be 76 by 8. We're going to take a look at your full forecast and the 7-day here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. A lot of Joplin drivers will soon have to make detour to their plans. South Range Line Bridge construction has been planned all summer and is finally getting started this week. Businesses near the bridge will also be still normally accessible. MoDOT officials say that they ask citizens to be patient and pre-plan their routes to work next Tuesday, as the bridge will be closed at 5 a.m.
Collision Center and even the Hidden Acres restaurant, everybody's still going to be able to, 29th Street everybody will still be able to access their businesses. They just may have to take a different route to get there.
The project is supposed to be completed by December 16th. You can find more information and detour routes on modot.org. The Carthage Humane Society was shocked to see its electronic bill increase to $2,000. They reached out to their community on Facebook asking for donations to cover the bill. The community came together to support and ended up donating more than the requested amount. Due to the extreme heat, the Humane Society bills has been increasing dramatically.
How are we going to pay this bill? Last month, our bill had jumped from $600 to $1,000, and that was difficult. but then it doubled to $2,000.
You can also support the shelter by donating animal food and cleaning supplies. Over the past few days, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump took the gloves off and they took aim at each other in the speeches in Pennsylvania, an important swing state in the November primary elections. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
A war of words between President Biden and former President Trump heated up over the Labor Day weekend.
He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth?
In his first rally since the FBI searched Mar-a-Lago as part of an investigation into the handling of classified documents, former President Donald Trump came out swinging in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania on Saturday during a campaign event for Republicans running in the midterms.
The FBI and the Justice Department have become vicious monsters.
Much of the former president's address was in response to a Thursday night speech President Biden gave at Philadelphia's Independence Hall, insisting Trump and some supporters are a danger to American democracy.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
The president's address has been both hailed and criticized for the last several days.
If this was a speech to unify the American people, it had just the opposite effect. It basically condemned all Republicans who supported Donald Trump in the last election. That's over 70 million people.
Two of the hallmarks of a fascist political party are, one, they don't accept the results of elections that don't go their way, and two, they embrace political violence. And I think that's why President Biden was right to sound the alarm.
A new CBS News poll finds 6 in 10 Americans think both the politicization of election rules and attempts to overturn official election results are major problems with the U.S. election and voting system. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
President Biden will be on the road again today with stops in Wisconsin and be back again in Pennsylvania. Meantime, we are still waiting to hear from the federal judge in Florida deciding whether to grant the former president's request for an independent third party to review the records seized from Mar-a-Lago. Still ahead on the news at noon.
Britain's next Prime Minister. I'm Holly Williams with the leader chosen to take over a government torn apart by scandal.
Also, several people have been killed in a suicide bombing outside of the Russian embassy in Afghanistan. Great Britain has a new prime minister. The Conservative Party over there announced Liz Truss as its new leader and country's prime minister, replacing the ongoing Boris Johnson. Truss inherits a whole host of economic challenges. Holly Williams report from outside the Houses of Parliament.
Liz Truss will not be Britain's first female Prime Minister, but its third. And some say she's modelling herself on another Conservative British leader, the Iron Lady herself, Margaret Thatcher.
I campaigned as a Conservative and I will govern as a Conservative.
Truss has served as the UK's first female Lord Chancellor, the Cabinet Minister in charge of the courts, and most recently as Foreign Minister, taking a lead role in Britain's support for Ukraine.
Putin's premeditated, pre-planned and barbaric invasion.
She was an accountant before she entered politics, and her biggest challenge will be the economy. Inflation hit a 40-year high in July, heating bills are about to spike, and there have been strikes around the country. Truss has promised deep tax cuts, which economists say will only fuel the inflation.
The last few years have been the greatest privilege of my life.
Britain's ruling Conservative Party ousted its former leader, Boris Johnson, after a series of scandals saw his popularity plummet.
Hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.
Truss wants to rebuild public trust in her party, but has been criticised as socially awkward and a political lightweight. She was widely mocked for this impassioned outburst in 2015 about cheese.
We import 2/3 of our cheese. That is a disgrace.
Liz Truss won't formally become Prime Minister until she's been to see the Queen, who's currently around 500 miles from here at her Scottish home, Balmoral Castle. That meeting is expected to happen tomorrow. Holly Williams, CBS News, London.
Truss was not elected by the British public, but by the rank and file of the Conservative Party. Several people have been killed in a suicide bombing outside of the Russian embassy in Afghanistan. Cell phone video shows rising smoke and people leaving the area after the blast Monday in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. The Russian foreign minister says a suicide bomber blew up himself, killing 2 embassy workers and at least 1 civilian. The explosion went off as a Russian diplomat came outside to read the names of candidates for visas awaiting in the crowd. Afghan police report the Taliban guards at the embassy shot and killed the attacker, but his device still detonated. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the explosion. Moscow has denounced the attack, calling it an unacceptable terrorist attack. A somber ceremony in Germany, marking 50 years since the massacre at the Olympic Games in Munich. The presidents of Israel and Germany laying wreaths Monday at an airfield memorial for the victims of the attack. Among those in attendance was the wife of one of the slain athletes. In 1972, terrorists affiliated with the Palestinian militant group stormed the Olympic Village, killing 2 Israeli athletes and taking 9 hostage. They demanded Israel release Arab prisoners along with 2 German terrorists during later a shootout at the airport. The 9 hostages were killed along with a West German policeman and 5 of the terrorists. Up next on the news at noon, Mr. Food.
If every time you make chicken breast you think to yourself, they can put a man on the moon, so how come I can't make chicken that's not dry and boring? Well, we're here to help.
But first, Chris Warner returns with your complete forecast.
We are dealing with a pretty decent day for us today. Some cloud cover out there after that morning fog burned off because, boy, was it a foggy start to the day. Dry conditions are prevailing right now, but that's going to change at least for a few of us a little later, and that's thanks to the remnants of this low-pressure system slowly tracking off to the north and east. And as it swirls back around, we're going to get on the backside of this action as the day progresses. We have seen rain, and that's been beneficial. Unfortunately, it's not been beneficial enough to take out all of this extreme drought situation. Now, it has scaled it back a bit. You may remember when this really got nasty, we were looking at extreme drought conditions all across the southern half of our area. It's been scaled back some. We need more rain in order to really knock this drought situation down. You'd think that everything we've seen lately would be enough, but we're just so dry, we can't keep up yet. What we're looking at this week, though, we've got those isolated storm chances later in the day. We got a pretty decent week temperature-wise lined up for us, and we're looking at sunny skies heading into this weekend. Right now, it's 7th and Rangeline. We got the partly cloudy skies. These will eventually start to clear out. It'll be a pretty nice day for most of us. 78 right now in Joplin. The calm breeze. It does feel a couple of degrees warmer than what the actual temperature is, but it's not that bad. A little further west, a pinch warmer, so we're looking at 83 Sedan, Independence, and Nowata, 84 in Neodesha and Parsons, then 75 Pittsburgh, 74 Lamar and Nevada, and 77 in Carthage. Now, as we go through the rest of today, we're looking at an afternoon high, ultimately, of 85 degrees. That'll be right around 5 o'clock, partly cloudy skies, and we're watching those late-day storms on the Missouri side. It will be 76 by 8. And as we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies all around. Temperatures drop back through the 60s with an overnight low of 63. On the future track, it'll be later today that we'll see some of those storms roughly in a line from Stockton to Pierce City is where we're expecting some of those scattered to isolated storms out there. Nothing severe, and these storms will, as soon as they pop up, they'll die almost immediately afterward, which again, not good news for the drought situation because that's just not enough. As we go through the rest of the week, as you can see, shower and thunderstorm activity stays to our east and southeast, and we're left with clear skies and dry conditions. If you have outdoor plans, the week is looking pretty good. But again, for our farmers and those dealing with this drought, this is not the forecast that you want to have. Make sure you stay up with the latest forecast by scanning that QR code right there or by going to your favorite app store and searching for KOAM Skywatch Weather. That way you can keep the KOAM Skywatch Weather app with you. And as we've said before, it's like having the entire Skywatch Weather team in your pocket wherever you go. Check out the 7-day forecast. So those late day storms, Again, roughly Stockton, Greenfield, Pierce City, Monette. Those will start up probably in the next 2 or 3 hours, and they'll last maybe an hour or two before they clear out. And then we are stuck with dry and sunny conditions for the rest of the week. 86 tomorrow, 90 on Wednesday, 87 on Thursday, 90 on Friday, and then 80s heading into the weekend. Again, if you have outdoor plans, then this forecast looks pretty good. If you are indoors, or if you have farms or have other interests with rain, this forecast not so good. But there is good news. By next week, rain chances do begin to return, which is helpful, and hopefully it'll continue to assist us with this drought condition, the drought situation that we are dealing with. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I know we've got more of the KOAM News at Noon coming up next. As a matter of fact, it's Mr. Food, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Mr. Food with some barbecue chip chicken. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're going to take this time now to honor today's four-state hero. Specialist 4th Class Brian Fenton served in the U.S. Army in Vietnam. He's earned the Purple Heart, 6 Oak Leaf Custers, and the Air Medal for his bravery. His hometown, Oswego, and we're proud to recognize Specialist 4th Class Brian Fenton today as our 4th-state hero. If you're looking for a new way to give your chicken dinner new life, how about a barbecue chip chicken? Howard's got the details in Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Today, I say we stand up and put a stop to boring baked chicken. I mean, enough is enough. So let me introduce you to a dish that's moist, packed with flavor, and it's ready in no time. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. We start by mixing some ranch dressing, garlic powder, and a touch of cayenne pepper in a shallow dish, and we set it aside. For the breading, we simply crush up some barbecue flavored potato chips. This is also a great way to use up those chips that are crushed in the bottom of the bag. Now, we dip a few chicken breasts into the dressing and then into the crushed chips. Make sure you pat each one gently so the breading really sticks. Once they're coated, onto a baking sheet they go, and we'll bake them off until no pink remains. What we end up with is a tasty spin on fried chicken with a smoky barbecue flavor. The best part is that it's as crunchy on the outside as it is juicy on the inside. You could even serve a little ranch dressing on the side for dipping. To get the recipe for our barbecue chip chicken, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a chip and dip way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find a recipe along with a lot more good food from Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. We're right back after this.
All right, another quick look at the 7-day forecast. Not good news for the drought situation as we're seeing sunny skies all week long. If you have outdoor plans, the temperatures at least are reasonable and overnight lows in the 60s.
Coming up tonight at 5, gift cards are an easy and popular present. However, people do not always use all that money. We'll tell you about the unused gift cards that Americans have been piling up. Plus, it's the International Day of Charity. We'll talk with Ronald McDonald House about how it's important to give back. And we are talking to you on an air adventure, Perry State Park near Minimines. Join us for those stories and more at KOAM News at 5.
Certainly an exciting 5 o'clock show coming up. So as Amber said, we'll see you back here at 5, and we'll do this all again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.